Hello. Hi. Oh, I coughed already. That's a record time for coughing. I I'm such a I won't say that I'm not a pro. Look at this mic. This is a new mic angle for me. Look at that. That's professional. But the coughing game is not on point. I just noticed there's laundry over there. Do you ever do that as a parent? You're just like, "Oh, I'm doing one thing." Oh no. Like it's like there's a horror movie around every corner. That's what being a parent or maybe an adult is like, cuz I'll clean my clothes. I have in-unit laundry. I'm taking advantage. They do charge for water, but I get it. But I'll do the laundry and then I'll move it from the washer into the dryer, and then if I'll even move it out of the dryer. Do you hear me? Do you hear me out there? Episode 50 sleepers. I will move it out of the dryer if there's something to put into the dryer that I have to move it. Like if I put other stuff in it, it'll get wet, so I gotta move. And then it'll be on a bed, and then when it's bedtime, it'll be on a couch, and then when it's couch time, it'll be on a bed, and then when it's like if I was my laundry, I'd be like, just make up your mind, okay? What's the point of this? Why you might as well just be dirty, because you're carrying me everywhere. You're not perfectly clean. Your body oils. I don't have body oils. I don't know, but that's my life. There's and that right. This over here. This is even. This isn't even like. I don't even know what they are. That's another thing. Things that are kind of dirty. What do we do with that? Universe, world. That's been one of my big struggles that I've forgotten about. That I've now rediscovered as the host of the I Just Got My Kid to Sleep podcast, episode 50. I what a big 50 weekend, Saturday Night Live at their 50th. I had my 50th episode anniversary. 50th episode. Similar similar effect on cultures. I That's been one of my big struggle. I think anytime, you're trying to better yourself, that's a good thing or whatever, but one of my things that I kind of let go of because I didn't know what to do, and I just remembered it now, just now. It's not on the list. Do you see it anywhere? You don't see it in here. One of my big struggles. I just showed everybody the list. If you're just listening, not just listening. Listening is the original way. Well, actually, I think I always had video and audio. It's 2025. We're 50 episodes in. I'm not going to limit the way people can, because if you just listen, not just okay. If listening is your preferred way to do it, that's fantastic. And you could probably just play it off YouTube and say it. But I like doing it it's on podcasts. It's on the networks, iTunes, not iTunes, Apple Podcasts. That's where it is, and other places. I'm sure it is. They tell me it is. It's a great world out there. It's a great world. It's a big world. It's a great world. But one of my big challenges, and maybe you guys can offer some assistance, is like when I have a shirt or pants that I wear, or like a hoodie or something, and it's not dirty, where do I gotta put it in a hole? I think because like I don't want to put it with the clean stuff, but I've worn it. That's why I don't know if I said that in the intro. I got kind of lost. Look, I can see my own eyes, and sometimes I just get lost in my own. Not because but like I don't know. You shouldn't as a podcaster performer. There's a comedian at the show this weekend who's relatively, they've done a lot of other performing, but not a lot of stand up. And they're like, what do you do to practice? And I was like, well, I don't. I do the show, you do the show, but I wouldn't look in the mirror, that's just a little, anyways. I'm not looking I'm not looking at myself anymore. I'm just looking at a green dot. That's better, right? We feel connected. So not big, I won't say a big struggle. If I'm going to be honest, if I'm going to be really sincere right now, if I'm going to be really truthful, in this episode 50 podcast, the 50th anniversary of the first episode, week-wise, the 50th week episode anniversary, the 50th week episode, the 50th week anniversary of the first episode. That's what it was. And I have to say that there's probably bigger problems out there. That's just, I'm just coming to terms with that. Like there's other issues, But this isn't the Other Issues podcast. This is the I Just Got My Kid to Sleep podcast. And it did not go smoothly. Just to go a little water drink. I could have said it. I don't know what I could have said quicker. I just made it longer. It didn't go unsmoothly. It was just, he's just so smart, just a smart kid. But I'll get into that later. So in earlier editions of this podcast, I might have just went there and then I'd just be there. And then I might never go back to this struggle, which is kind of exciting. I don't know if it was exciting. I don't listen to all these, but it could be. It could be like, wow, what was that? And then I'll get in the comment and be like, oh, that's the next week episode. That'll go on the list. Can you read that? It'll go on the list. I just showed them the paper. Maybe I'll make audio. This is the list sound effect. Look at the list. You like that? This is great. So I already kind of said it, but like as a kid, I would wear a shirt, and as an adult still, but more as, it's not important. The issue is, where do you put clothes that aren't dirty, but they're not brand new clean? Now that I say it out loud, it doesn't seem like a life or death thing. But as a kid, it was more of a struggle. I had like a separate basket. I don't want to put, and I'm not like a crazy, like I gotta be clean person, but like fresh clothes. Have you ever gotten fresh clothes out of a dryer? Have you ever smelled them? Have you really? Then you know that is a different kind of clean than the clean that after one day of wear. It just is. And if you can find a way to not mix those together in the universe and have their textiles, their different different things mix and infect each other, because the clean's not going to infect the dirty. Clothes have never been clean enough to where they can just be like making other clothes clean. That would be an invention. That's the Invention theme song. Here's my, I shouldn't, man, someone's going to take my ideas. No, they're not. They're going to make them and give me credit. But that's a good invention idea of like something that you can put in your dryer that make your clothes or wash. Listen, if I'm going to be honest, viewers of the episode, Sleeper is a person who listens to the podcast. I'm just, we might get some new viewers from Reno this weekend. So I don't want them to think I'm calling them a sleeper, but that's a compliment if you're really going to wonder. Like a sleeper is someone you don't expect to be awesome, but they're awesome. And it also is someone who listens to this podcast. And if I knew someone at like Webster's or dictionary.com, I feel like dictionary.com is probably, that's where I go. I don't even have a dictionary on me, and I was an English major. I should get a dictionary. Oh, man. Whew. If only I could write it down. I gotta get dictionaries, maybe like a kid dictionary. I have a son. I just got my kid to sleep. What if I did this podcast and I had no kids? I just called it, I just got my kid to sleep. What if anyway, I'm gonna lose my thread. I've got to stay on it because I'm sure. So that's a good invention idea this is the good invention time. I didn't do anything physical there that you couldn't see if you were just listening, but I leaned to the mic as if I was. So that's what that is. So a good invention idea is something you could put in your washing machine or dryer. I know people at P&G, and they make your clothes infectiously clean. Man, I gotta call Zach. You put it in there, and then whatever it touches not only cleans your thing, but it makes them spread cleaning to other things. And I just think that's, $1 billion ideas a little early to tell from the angel investor meetings we've had. But it's an idea. It would solve my problem. Maybe that's how we make the world a better place right now. Just think of things in your life that are issues for you, and how would you solve them if you had inventing skills and science and all of that stuff. I don't know if I feel like the mic's picking it up. It is. It is. Okay. I got a great setup here. So that's my idea because that's been an issue my whole life. No, I let go of it after maybe college. Definitely when I became a dad. I don't care about my clothes anymore. Um, but I think it's an issue. I still have a place where I put clothes that I've worn that aren't super clean. And then you know what? You want to know what happens? Sleeper universe world out there who's listening and wondering. I put them in that special little clothing cabinet. So here's what I have in my room. I have a big, huge closet, a lot of space, lot of space in my closet. Like I've never had this much space. Like when I was a kid, I hung up so many clothes one time that the wooden bar broke. It just broke, and it was like a little family sitcom moment, like when Stephanie drove through the kitchen. It's a Full House reference. Um, like it was just like, cause at the time I was trying to put clothes away, trying to accomplish some stuff, clean up, do good in the world. And then I saw the bar bending. I didn't think it would break. I thought it would be like the Chicago Bears goal line defense. I don't know. I thought they had a good defense until they fired their coach. I need footnotes for this thing. So the Chicago Bears are a football team. We all know that. Virginia McClaskey, rest in peace. They had a decent, they have a really good quarterback. They had a decent defense that didn't allow teams to score a lot of touchdowns early on in the season. Check my stats on that. But that's kind of the stereotype, the archetype of the team they have, or the structure, the way they run their organization. A lot of emphasis on defense. Bend, don't break. I could have just avoided talking about that at all altogether. So yeah, I broke that one time, but that wouldn't happen now. I have so much space. It's great. I'm not bragging. I am, but I'm not using it well. So I have that. And then I have, I found out recently cause I live in an apartment and, that, the apartment below me has been vacant for a long time. And I don't think it's because of me. It's because of my kid, but how would anybody know, Like, I think it's better that it's vacant with a kid running around. But unless they visited right when we were here. Anyways, he doesn't really run inside anymore. When he was a young child, he would kind of like, he would kind of like toddle. Did you know that little kids do that? They call them toddlers. And when they do that, they just they kind of run, but that's just because they're about to fall over all the time. And my neighbor one night just like started, my neighbors are being very nice. It's pretty late. My kid just went to sleep and it's late. They toddle because otherwise they fall over, so they start to run, but that's just to keep their balance. It's just like a, whoa, I can't really stand up and show. I mean, normally I would definitely, but you get it. You can imagine it, or you've seen kids. I'm not worried about that you don't know it because I think you do. And my neighbor would get upset. He'd be like, "Who's running up there?" I'm like, "No, he's just not falling," and I'm encouraging that behavior. Anyway, I almost lost what I was talking about. So I found out because I was seeing if anybody moved underneath me, and the apartment underneath me, and it said that it was empty, and it said they have a linen closet in the master bedroom. I live in the master bedroom. My son does not live in the master bedroom. I would live in his bedroom. He's got a great view of the hills. Like it's like I would go to sleep like with the windows open so I could watch we're far away from the hills, but it's really pretty. But he doesn't need all that space. I read the breakdown of the apartments in this building and said there's a linen closet in the master bathroom. I was like, master bedroom. I was like, oh, that's what all those cabinets are. So anyways, I started using one of those for my semi-clean, but not completely dirty, but not completely clean clothes. And I think there's got to be a better way because I'd put them in there and you know what would happen? I've asked this question already and you might have already guessed. I wish I had text. I could be like, what do you think happened? Multiple choice. A, you wore them again. It was a perfect system. No problems. That's probably not the answer because I wouldn't be talking about it like this if that was the actual situation. B, they all the clothes disappeared. Someone broke into my apartment and stole. These are all pretty silly options. Or C, I would just forget they were there and wear them even less than normal. And I don't know if you're like me and you have an emotional connection to things. It wouldn't feel good. It just didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. I wanted it to feel good, but it didn't feel good. And so now I just don't have a situation. Now my place is in such a place of disrepair where I just, it's not a huge deal anymore because the clean clothes don't even get put away. But I'd like to figure out that situation because someday I'll live in a house or a place that is organized and I'll get back to that system. And maybe I could like hang up clothes. It's just the clothes that are kind of not clean, I feel like are the ones that they need to I just don't want them like, I mean, they're not dirty. Maybe I should just put them all together. And this was the day that Michael grew up. See, I was supposed to wear headphones after the last episode and I forgot and I'm all situated now. So thank you for listening and turning it up or down if you have to, because I have no, how's it going, audio engineer? Oh, that's just my laundry. I turned and looked. See, if I get really close, it gets loud. I turned and looked and it was right where I looked for the laundry. Okay. That's it. That's not the podcast. That's just that issue, you know? It's that issue. And, that's just where we are with it. Yeah. Yeah. Whew. Oh no, it's green. Is it still okay? No, it's okay. I could have turned up the gain, I think, on the mic. This is interesting podcasting, technological stuff. Okay. So episode 50, got that out of the way. No, not that, but the closing thing. I just think that invention idea is probably the best way to fix it. Probably. So episode 50, this is welcome to I Just Got My Kid to Sleep podcast. Not welcome to, that's not part of the title. I was just welcoming you to the podcast. And I appreciate it that you're here. It is Monday. That's when my kid got to sleep, and I'm going to go into that because I talked about it, but I didn't get into it. Usually I would follow it and then hopefully get back, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that yet, so I'm going to get back to it. I got to sneeze though, real quick. I didn't cover my mouth because it's just me, you know? And I could have done it, but then I might have gotten it on my shirt. I feel like that would have felt like it was more infectious. A lot of use of the word infectious today. I didn't expect that. That's not on my bingo card or whatever. I think people have been really nice about sneezing lately. Like when I get to sneeze in public, I go away from everybody and like I do it and I cover it up. And multiple times today, people have been like, bless you. And I know that's what people are supposed to say, but not even a hint of like, why are you in public? You know, I don't even see it or feel it. Cause there was a time where if you would sneeze or cough, I could just feel, you know, people being like, why are you here? Do you not read the news? This is the guy that's going to take us down. He's going to close the whole planet up because he won't stay inside. No, I don't feel that anymore. I feel like I think it about others, but I don't feel it from others, which is good. I saw a guy in the airport because I travel a lot. I'm a stand-up comedian also. I know this isn't my only job. I'm a stand-up comedian and I do stand-up comedy in different cities and states every weekend. And I used to be really worried about getting sick and having to not do shows. But now, since everything's happened for a while, people are very understanding. I don't know, people aren't, but I'm understanding of myself. But I still don't want to get sick. Like I used to be, when Jack would come home on a call, like I'd pick him up. He just doesn't come home, you know, he's 6. He was 4 at the time. I'll pick him up and sound kind of sick or whatever. And when you're just the only parent there or whatever, you can't just be like, all right, like when your kid is sick and you're not sick, you can't just be like, well, you got to stay in your room now. You just can't, you know, you're eating like they're eating. Like I would try to be like, sit on my lap and then face his eating away from me. That's good advice. The good advice moment of I Just Got My Kid to Sleep podcast. I might have to rethink some of these songs. If your kid's sick and they're young, and we sit on the floor a lot to eat. Isn't that interesting? Did you expect that? I didn't think I sit on the floor. He has a little like camping chair that's good for little kids. And when we first moved into this apartment, he was just turning 2. And we had this little chair that we would use if we were like traveling and to eat places. And it attaches to a chair, but it also works fine on the ground. And so I did this thing where I just put it on the ground and had a little like tray area for his food, because I just felt like it wasn't fair that kids always have to eat at our level. And so I thought we would do this sometimes. We would sit down here and eat. And I'm an idiot because I didn't realize that that's just how we eat now forever. Like I'm sure he'll grow out of it when he's uncomfortable, but like, it's never like we'll eat where Jack likes to sit and then we'll eat where Dad likes to sit. It's just been like, we're eating here. And then I can sit on the table and just look down at it, which I should probably do that more. But I like the camaraderie of eating together. You know, the moments where your kid's doing something that's healthy, it's like you got to see it, you know. And he'll stretch his legs out. And when he was like a younger kid, he would like to put his feet on my legs and just sort of rest them like I was his own personal leg rest, which is, I'm fine with that, you know? And it was kind of nice. But it's not a good setup because when you eat cereal in the morning and you have a table in front of you, you can like eat over the table. But he's got like a little like plastic container with things in it that I just use to put food on. And then he just like takes the spoon and then moves it over here. And then milk is everywhere. It's just, I just thought, I was like, oh, this is like, I'm going to figure out parenting. I'm going to do things a new way, you know? You ever think that? You go through a thing and you're like, maybe we don't. Maybe the way we've been doing it is just because it's the way we've been doing it. And maybe it's not the right way. And so I tried that. And the way we were doing it was fine. Everybody out there who's using high chairs for young children, that's fine. That's a totally good way. Don't show any other options because, I mean, he might have chosen it by himself. But now we eat on the ground, and so when he got a cough or whatever, or a little sneeze, a runny nose, I just have him sit in my lap, and he faces away from me, and I put my food back behind me, and then all the food he eats is in front of him, and mine's behind me. And I really think the separation of germs has really helped me stay healthy. So that's just a little bit of advice on staying healthy. Because I need to be healthy to do my my podcast job and my comedian job. So I was at the airport today, and there's this guy just walking through the airport, just like sneezing. And it's a holiday, Monday, President's Day. And I'm not, we're all out there, but I was just like, why are you out here? It just slipped out. I didn't say it. That would be funny. Some guy's just sneezing, walking through the airport. And I just look at him like, why are you here? Don't you care about others? Why are you here? Go! Isolate yourself. Like, that's what's weird about sneezes. Is you can sneeze or cough and have like an illness. That's proven. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that's proven. Yeah. But you can also do that and just have like a little tickle or something that just like this got in there and it was like, we got to get out of here now. And it just forces your body to like sneeze or cough. And you might be like healthier than me. You might be giving me good germs somehow. I don't know if there's good. Are there infectious germs that can clean my germs? That doesn't sound good. Anyway, so yeah, that's good. But my son, Jack, he He's very smart when it comes to staying. So today we went to they have these little cool trains at the Griffith Park, and we did those, and then we came home at a good time. Like it was like we had like 4 hours, 5 hours to get ready for bed, which sounds crazy, but like I was like, okay, we'll be okay. There's some wiggle room in there. There's some space to do some stuff. Not too much. You don't want to. Here's some more advice, but I'm not going to sing advice. I lied. I sang. But if you have that extra time, don't use it all at the beginning. Just go through the steps. Kids don't know what time it is really. I feel like that should be the last thing kids learn is how to tell time. Like, teach them how to read, teach them how to do calculus, teach them how to do Chem 2. But like, as long as we keep time for the parents, we can control the balance of sleep time in the household. And if you can control the balance of sleep in your household, then you've won the first war or battle. I don't care how you consider it, a war or a battle. So he doesn't know what time it is. He just knows it gets dark and he's asleep. So if you get him to bed early, it's all good. So we had like a good, probably like 4.5 hours. And so we're playing the video game. We're playing Mario Galaxy 2 on the Wii. Cause I don't have Switch money. What are you doing? And we're in like the last level, right? And it's really fun, but it was a level where, like he's getting to an age where he can like play a little bit, which is so super fun. It's just, he's not, he's pretty good, but it's like he'll want to do some parts of it. And then when we transition the controllers, then I take a hit. And now in the last level of this video game, I'm going in already taking a hit in my health, and I'm not as skilled. I'm not skilled enough to do. That's what I'm coming clean with right now. Is I'm not skilled enough to like give him the sticks, the controllers, and him do the part that he wants to do, and then him get back to me and me take a hit of lava or thing from a boomerang guy, and a hit means like damage, and then come back. I wasn't today, but I was really proud of myself and because I was like, hey, we're gonna be done now. We gotta eat, and I also found out that the apartment below me had a leak, and that I wasn't supposed to use my kitchen sink, and I don't know, like I didn't see a leak on my end, but that really threw a whole leak into this. I was gonna say wrench, but it was more of a leak. Like if we had a wrench and it fixed the leak, we wouldn't have to do this. So I was like, well, if I can't like cook, I'm not gonna run to the bathroom to get water or whatever. I'm a big cooker, but just like I was like, all right, we'll go out to eat, So I was like, he loves Denny's, So we go to Denny's, and normally when we go to Denny's, it's like a treat. It's a planned thing. So when we get there, it's just like whatever he wants on the menu, he can eat. Like I don't tell him like, oh, we can't have it, because I'm like, if we're there, it's a special occasion, So he got a milkshake and chocolate chip pancakes, and he drank some of my milkshake, and I was like, well, and I was on the road all weekend, and I was only away from him for like 3 days, but I think I just forgot everything as a parent, because I was like, well, it's like 5:30, and then it was like 6, and we were finally eating our food, and I was like, I just didn't know how I was gonna go, and then we got home, and then he was like, now I'm hungry to eat again, and I was like, well, you just filled up on milkshake, that's why. So I like warmed up some food. I made some bacon, didn't involve water, and some fruit that I had for my travels that was not sneezed on, and he just ate all of it. I was like, you should have just eaten at Denny's, and that's why I got tricked. I got tricked into taking him out for ice cream. He just had all this food that I got, and anyways. So I was like, it's okay. We're through it. We're a little bit delayed, but we're through it. And then we take a bath. We get ready for bed, and we're doing a lot of like, it's really good to wrestle with your kids, I heard. So we're wrestling, or kid, I just have one, and we're doing all this stuff, and then we lay down, and I fall asleep, and he doesn't, and he wakes me up, and then I don't know if like when you fall asleep, you can it feels good, right? That's a stupid sentence. But like when someone wakes you up, it's kind of, sometimes it's hard to like go back and And so I just sort of laid there, and then eventually he fell asleep again. That was the part of the podcast I hoped you were listening to as you fell asleep. Maybe missed it. But yeah, it'll all be okay. I try not to worry. He's got school. That's the best part about when they go to school, because with my job at least, my job is benefits. I have the days where I can sleep. So no matter what happens at night, I can just go to sleep. And other people have jobs. So no matter what happens at night, they just go to work. And that's different than sleep. But I'm sure there's a benefit to it somewhere. I think it's like you get to see your kid more, which is good. But yeah, what a great week, right? Has it ever been a bad one? I was in Reno, Nevada, and I learned how to play blackjack, the card game. I don't know why, but Jack was asking me about gambling, and I'm not a big partake, but the comedy club, I was staying at a casino, and so the owner would always go there and gamble, and I was like, I just want to watch, and I want you to tell me, I want to talk to you about it a lot, because when we're away from the casino, because I played blackjack before, like a hand or two, and I've done things where people got mad at me, and I don't like people getting mad at me when I know what I'm doing, but I especially don't like it when I don't know what I'm doing and they're mad at me. And so my friend explained to me how to play so you can make the dealer bust, and how you're really playing against the dealer. Like if they have a 2 through a 5 showing, then you should not get more cards, because there's a higher chance that they're going to bust, which that's 2 through 6, I think it was. So I don't remember why, but I learned that, and that was really fun. Also, my hotel had an ice skating rink, so I went ice skating 2 times, and I learned that I am a size 10 when it comes to ice skates. I thought I was an 11, but that was not a safe ice. If you ever want to ice skate, you got to wear ice skates that are very fitting, because you want your ankle to have a lot of support. And that was very fun. And then I'm home. And next week I go to Davenport, Iowa, or this week I'm in Davenport, Iowa on Thursday of this week, which today is the 18th. So the 20th, February 20th, I'll be in Davenport, Iowa. And then the 21st and 22nd, I'll be in Prior Lake, Michigan, which is no, that's not right. Prior Lake, Minnesota, which is in Minnesota, where there are 10,000 lakes. So this one's in the Prior one, and I'm opening for Kathleen Madigan at at a casino and theaters. I don't think I'm going to put my blackjack skills to test, because I did play. Once I learned how to play, I did play, and I won a little bit. But then in the end, everyone was just playing till they lost their money, and I was like, "What's the point of this?" Like they would look at their chips and be like, "All right, I'm just like, we'll just leave now." I don't think you can go through life with that attitude, right? You gotta get out when there's money still there. I was going to try to apply that to a life situation, but I didn't succeed at that. Oh yeah, I was talking about Jack he's not sick right now. And I was very proud of that, because I didn't talk about this last week. This is the sheet stuff. This is the stuff that's on the sheet right now. Yeah, I started to lose a little steam, and I'm trying to pick it up from the sheet. So last week I was thinking that I thought it was really cool, because we got a note. They don't send notes home from school anymore. It's all digital. It's all through Lilio. Don't hack it, please. And they send this message out to all the kids in the school. And I would read it to you, but I'm using all of my devices currently. What for? Who knows? For the podcast. So on Lilio, they said, hey, they didn't say that. That's just how I quote people, so they sound more casual. But they said, hey, if your kid has a fever or a cough or any other symptoms, please do not send them to school. If the fever is over 100.4, do not send them to school. Do not send them to school if they're sick. Do not send them to school. And if you do send your child to school, before they'll be allowed back, they'll have to get a letter from a doctor. And I don't know why I said it like that, but I was like, oh no, This is before I picked up Jack from school. And I had told them before that, like, I'll call me, I'll come get him right away. I'm sleeping, it's fine. I can have him. And, cause one time I picked him up and, I took him to school that morning and he wasn't like, he didn't have a fever or anything, but there was like a cough starting, but I was like, I don't know, maybe this is if you're not a parent, this might sound really like, not enlightening, but, incriminating, but like when you're planning on your child going somewhere first, just look at it this way. If you're not partial towards the parent in the situation, you're planning on your child going somewhere for like 6 hours at least, unless it's a half day, 4 or 5. If you're planning your child and then all of a sudden they're just not going to go and they're not at an age where you can just be like, hey, go over, like then it's like you're on, it's like every day you realize that life is so fleeting, you think your kid's going to school, which I love it when he's here. It's the best, but I stay up late because I get work done, I clean up, I gotta move. I have to move so many clothes from the bed to the couch. I can't just go to bed right away. There's so many trips. I could just fold them and put them away. We all knew that. But I realize that's why I don't have the problem as much with the semi-clean clothes, because all my clean clothes are out. So I can put my semi-clean clothes away and it's not as crazy. But if you're planning on it and then all of a sudden they don't go to school, it's just like, you got to adjust, and you can. I realized that over the holidays because I was visiting family and I was expecting family to be around, to take over, and they weren't, and which is fine. I had a great time with them, but I would just be like, well, we're waking up, I would play with them, and then I'd be like, I'm gonna, lay down for an hour when I need to, and I knew he wouldn't, and then, but then he would let me, and then I'd be like, here's my phone. It's an hour. Phone, an hour. You got to limit screen time, less than 10 hours a day. No, it's like an hour. So, and then I would just be up, and then, the day, wraps up, and it's all good. We can make it through every day. But, so there's one day where I was like, he was coughing a little bit, but I was just like, he'll be okay. I talked myself into it. I was like, he'll be good. And if you ask a kid if he's okay, usually if they ever say they're not okay, they're not okay. But most of the time, they're like, oh yeah, I'm okay. They're happy. That's the best. One of the best parts I think about being a child is that you can be sick and not even, like, when I get sick, I feel like this sense of guilt, like I'm responsible for it. Like I just feel like, oh, because they always say like it's because of stress or because, whatever you did, that guy walking through the airport. Why are you even out here? What are you here out here, guy? Don't you know there's illnesses? So I didn't, what was I going to say? I was talking about him being home, but anyways, I sent him to school with a little bit of a cough, and then I went to pick him up from school, and he was like, they were doing like a story time thing, and he was like separated from the group, and I was like, oh, and then they were like, he's kind of, and I was like, oh, he just call me, I don't do anything. And, so I got this note, digital email being like, hey, and I was like, maybe I'm the parent, that did that dropped my kid off when he was sick. And I was like, that's me. I'm in probation now or whatever. And I picked him up and he was perfectly healthy. And I was like, it wasn't me. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah. Somebody else is bringing their infected kids to school. Not this guy. I'm a responsible dad. So, maybe some more parents should listen to this podcast, or people, to know how to be an appropriately discerning parent when it comes to illnesses. And then the next week, I was getting my son ready for school and he wasn't very hungry. And I was like, I've always done this trick where I think it only works when they're young, where like when they don't want to eat breakfast or something, I'm just like, well, do you want this thing that I don't usually give them right away or ever? And then they just want to eat, So I was like, well, do you want some fruit snacks? Because he loves fruit snacks. Because it's like, they call them fruit snacks, but they're like soft candy with fruit juice. And they're good. And so he's like, yeah. And then he just like throws up immediately. And I was like, well, now that's proof, If someone's thrown up, they can't go to school. And which I didn't want him to throw up, but I knew then. He told me his stomach hurt. I shouldn't have offered him fruit snacks. Yeah. So I talked about that. That's something I talked about. He threw up, and it wasn't because of my cooking. That's what it was. Last week I was talking about audiobooks. I really like audiobooks, but I'm listening to one now called Butter. We talked about it. I look forward to it, doing tasks now. That's what's great about audiobooks, because you can listen to a story. Like when this is done, I gotta put all this away, This just doesn't live in my bathroom. I just pointed at the microphone. This just doesn't live here, right? I can't just be this person. So I got to put it away, and it can seem a little overwhelming sometimes, especially all the laundry I have to walk past. So what I do is I put in the AirPods. They're not a sponsor, and I listen to Butter. It's an audiobook, and it's really good. And then I get everything done, and I feel like I'm also having entertaining moments, and I love it, and it's the best. I do feel like, though, when I look at how much the audiobook has left, I do feel sometimes a little bit of anxiety. Like, how are they going to fill 12 hours? Because like some books are like 20 hours long. And I've listened to this one for 8. It doesn't feel like 8. It moves. But I'm like, wow, there's 12. What's the author going to talk about? Like, a really good book, I feel like you can't even tell that anything's happening. You're just listening or reading and enjoying it. And then to look at how much you have left and be like, how can they maintain that for this much? I'm showing them how thick the book is. How can they maintain it for that much? I don't know. But they do. Every single time. Every single audiobook that I've been like, that's so much time left, they always finish it. It's not just, a couple more hours and then music. They always do it, which is impressive. They always live up to what they say. Yeah, we got a lot of rain last week, and living in Los Angeles, there's a lot of rain. There was a lot of rain, and I'm not complaining, but there was a little moat. Whenever it rains a lot, there's a little moat around my apartment, which maybe that's where the leak is coming from. Maybe all the rain got in there. If you were listening to the early part of the podcast, or if you weren't, that doesn't make sense. Why would I even say? Like when you watch TV or something and you're watching, I just itched my eye, it's red. If you watch a guy, like a show, watch a guy on a show, like a live thing, they'll be like, if you're just joining us, but maybe, I don't know how people listen to my podcast. Maybe they're like, the first 42 minutes, let's cut to the chase. This is when it gets to the list. The list. Right, guys? So there's a lot of rain, and it was flowing, and it was just so weird to be like, I can't complain about this at all, because there were just so many fires, not near me, but in the city of which I live in the places that affected a lot of people. But we're okay. I'm okay. Jack told me that the other day that if we watched TV before bed, he would just go straight to sleep, which is weird as a parent, because like it's a good deal, I'm not going to deny it's fair, and he stuck to it. But also, like, what kind of precedent are we establishing? Immediately I was like, dude, I can put you to bed right now. And he believed me. Can you believe? He was like, oh, like, I think I forget sometimes that this isn't parenting therapy, but I don't forget that I'm the adult, but because here's the thing, before you get all judgmental, everybody, 2-year-olds, they call them terrible, like 2-year-old, 3-year-old, because they just scream. And so at some point you're like, well, also they don't understand as much. So you're just like, it's not necessarily giving in or making concessions as it is like, we're just surviving, and now you don't have to do that anymore. I was like, I can put you to bed right now. And he was like, oh, and I was like, ooh, I got a new thing that I can do. I can tell him, because they're learning now. That's how my parenting is changing. We're all got to change and grow, you know? He can put on his clothes by himself. I realize that. They're always backwards, but that'll be good for one day of school a year, you know? If you put your clothes on backwards every day, it'll work out one day of school spirit per year, which is next week. I got to remember that. I got to remember that day to encourage him to dress himself. It's like Dr. Seuss week next week, and one of the days is wear your clothes backwards in honor of the backwards book. I think it was The Cat in the Hat. The Cat in the Hat, like backwards things. I'm not sure where the backwards thing really came from. I don't know. Jack's 6 now. Like, he can put on his clothes. And sometimes they're backwards and sometimes they're not. But when he was younger, if we let him do it every day, is just, I don't know how he hit it every day backward. Like, how do you, I gotta sneeze again. That was like a yawn and a sneeze. It's okay. I'm healthy. Can't you see it? I fell asleep while he fell asleep. That's my eye was red. I feel very safe and healthy. I'm not going to go to myself. What are you doing now? I'm not. I'm very isolated right now. I could do this podcast every day if I got sick. I'd have the energy and everything. Yeah. So I got to get ready for Dr. Seuss week. That's a whole thing. Next week, I'll be off next week. And then the week after that, I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Greenville, South Carolina, and Greensboro, North Carolina, and then Atlanta, Georgia. And yeah, it'll be a little run. I forget which state it is, but there's one of them where their license plate motto is, I think it's North Carolina, is very intense. Or maybe it was South. It's like something, give me freedom or give me death, which it's very, you know, I don't know if it's freedom. Here, let's look it up. I got time, you know, we all have time. This will keep recording, right? Yeah. People look up stuff on podcasts. Should I get a screenshot? What? This is loading. I had to turn everything off. Let's go. So maybe you guys can guess along. A, give me liberty or give me death. B, give me freedom or give me death. This is for, I think, South Carolina. Or C, we love the ocean. Which one do you think it is? South Carolina state motto on license plate. Wow, this is what it is. So it was D, none of the options. The South Carolina state motto, and for all my South Carolina listeners out there, I have a lot of respect. Your state is a great state, but their motto is, while I breathe, I hope, which, you know, those are all good things, breathing and hoping, but dramatic much? Watch it be from something very special. It just seems like, you know, like, let's see who said it. Like who, I breathe, I hope. It's Latin. So I don't know if anybody said it. I think they just chose it. Yeah, why does it say it? The days ahead are better than what we left behind. I don't know. It just seems a little weird for kind of a vacation state. While I breathe, I hope that room service comes. I don't know if it's a vacation state, but Charleston's a nice city. It just seems like, what's going on? Are you okay? While I breathe, I hope. How about while you breathe, you just take a breath, just chill. While I breathe, I'm good. I'm good now. But I've never lived in South Carolina. Maybe the dead people don't get to hope. I think that's what it is. If I hold my breath, do I not get to hope? Still hoped that I would breathe again. I feel like hope is enough on its own for a license plate, you know? Like, I've never heard someone being like, I really hope that my favorite team wins today. And I'm like, well, are you alive? Like, it's never been a big question for me. If someone's hoping, I'm pretty sure they're alive. So I don't know if that applies to this license plate at all. It would be interesting. Maybe like if you were getting your driver's license in South Carolina, because maybe that's inspiring for you then, like you're reading the book on all the rules and stuff, and then you go to take the test and they're like, are you ready for this? You can just be like, while I breathe, I hope. Okay, well, fill this out and good luck. If you don't pass, you can take it again right after. You got to parallel park now. While I breathe, I hope. I remember talking about that last time I was there, and a lady got a little upset in the crowd. She took it very personally. Apparently, she was someone who was breathing and hoping and respecting others also. And who was this guy to come in to their comedy club and mock the state motto that's from Latin, by the way. It's not even, Latin's not even the United States. So, Dum spiro spero in Latin. That's what that is. But anyway, come out to the show if you want. If you live there, if you know anybody. Thanks for listening. We're not done yet. We're going to, this should be called the 53-minute podcast. I know that you know that I'm out of things, but the good part about the podcast is I started it with pretty much not anything anyway. So we could do a whole nother 53 based off of what we started with and where we go. And that's the magic of podcasts, really, is that if you've listened to this long, no one's listening to hate me. Like I posted a clip of a stand-up on thing and some guy tried to write a punchline or whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever, I did it the way I did it. This is your career, but it's like, no one does that in the whole special, like very few people like watch the whole thing and then be like, boo, you wouldn't do it. So if you're here right now, what do you got to talk about? Cause you're friends, right? These are people. These are my people. Yeah. All I know is that, I'm working, still doing shows and people are coming out and, I'm a dad and I got a lot of laundry. Like laundry isn't even the number one thing if I was going to do stuff to my apartment to help it be better. But I also like, I never know when to get groceries. That's a whole other thing. But I do know, and this is for all the people that are here today, that don't worry about me, because while I breathe, I hope. Thank you, everybody. I just got my kid to sleep. Episode 50, the 50th anniversary of the first episode, the same week as SNL's 50th. Look at that. I didn't even plan it that way. I didn't even plan it that way, but it just, I don't know. I'm sure you're probably watching that one. You might not have time to pick this one up, so maybe you'll catch it like in a couple weeks. But I'll see everybody later once I close all these windows and I turn off everything. Good night and